This case will leave you absolutely stunned. A woman claims she was just trying to help, but what investigators uncovered tells a much darker story. Yvonne Monica Pett stood in court facing a charge that could have sent her to prison for life after a child in her care suffered serious bodily injury. And the details? They are heartbreaking. According to prosecutors, Petts took in a child she met through a complete stranger at a grocery store. No formal adoption, no proper legal process, nothing. What was supposed to be a safe home quickly turned into a nightmare. The child suffered bruises, injuries, and neglect so severe that even the judge described the case as very, very sad. In court, Petts cried. She claimed she was just trying to do something kind. She admitted to pinching the child as punishment but insisted she didn't mean to leave marks. She said she didn't realize the harm she was causing. But the courtroom wasn't buying it. The most shocking moment came when the judge pointed out something that left everyone silent. Records showed she regularly took her dog to the groomer, yet the injured child didn't receive proper care. When a child is sick, you take a child to the doctor, the judge said, questioning how someone could show more concern for a pet than for a vulnerable child. It also came out that Child Protective Services had prior knowledge of the situation. That revelation raised even more disturbing questions. How was a child left with a complete stranger in the first place? Could this tragedy have been prevented? In the end, the court sentenced Petts to 18 years in prison. She will have no contact with minors and can never work with children or vulnerable individuals again. Some believe 18 years isn't enough. Others say justice was served. But one thing is certain. This case is a chilling reminder that not everyone who claims to be a savior truly is. And once the prison doors close, there's no escaping accountability.
Defense.
Matthew Allen.
Are you Ms. Perez?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery that you revealed with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Perez, did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor. We are waiving the repeater enhancements. I cannot find the judgment.
No objection.
All right. Did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you understand it?
Yes,
Did you
Your
sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with assault intentionally knowingly of serious bodily injury by omission with a child? Did you understand that's the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Ms. Perez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her rights to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 18 years in the prison and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal, the only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
Just the motion for continuance from yesterday.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
State Office States Exhibit 1.
No objections.
Is there a reason she's crying?
She's just upset.
All right, what are you upset about?
Situation. I didn't expect this.
What's upsetting you about the situation?
Try to do something kind and just,
It's just I don't know if the court has noticed, every time she's come in, she's been
Crying.
very emotional. Yeah.
I apologize, Your Honor.
No, I'm just asking questions. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyone want to say why I should follow this plea bargaining agreement?
I can speak briefly on that, Your Honor. I think the stipulations, so the way that Ms. Perez came about to have the child was kind of strange to begin with. She, in my opinion, I think saw these two children that were on the streets. Her and her partner tried to help take them in. And then obviously there was an incident that Ms. Perez describes a week prior to this where, again, she should have taken the girl in for medical treatment immediately. And then obviously she fell from the stairs.
Let's backtrack a little bit. Because it says in the stipulations that there were two people outside of the store. She says she's being a good Samaritan. So she takes them both back to her apartment. And then she tells one of them, I can no longer keep you here. You need to leave. But I'll keep the complainant.
Yes, her and her partner. So her partner ended up, I believe, keeping the younger boy, and she kept the younger girl at the apartment.
And is this younger boy currently alive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
And where is he?
As CPS has removed him, he's with other family.
Okay.
The incident described that is the leads to this tragedy. Obviously, Yvonne describes it as she's playing. Obviously, the kid shouldn't be playing on the stairs. We know that. She hits her head in the back. She seems like she's okay as far as checking on her. She's eating while she's
So why
eating.
was she pinching her as a sign of punishment? Because that's what it says in the steps, that she would pinch her.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
it wasn't like I'm pitching her just kind of like a grab, like just
It says it
to
left
prompt her.
bruises.
Huh? I'm sorry.
It said it left bruises.
I didn't realize it was gonna leave a bruise. I didn't intentionally do it to like leave that bruise. The little girl, when my daughter was,
And so I think she's describing as, yes, she again is admitting to that. It doesn't matter whether you think it's going to leave a bruise or not leave a bruise. I think we would agree. And then as far as her actions, she seemed like she was okay. And then the next morning, obviously she's not, and then drops her off at the hospital. And then obviously does another bad thing, just leaves her and then leaves. She does come back. She does sit down with the police. She does talk to them, tell them everything that's going on and what happened. Obviously, at that point, it's too late. But I can speak to Ms. Perez from the day I've been with her for 20 months or so, from the day I've met her until today. Every time I talk to her, she's upset. And it's not because of so much of her situation, it's because of what happened. And she knows that she did wrong. She knows she wishes she could go back in time and change all of that. And she says that every time I talk to her. And so
Like maybe if somebody's offering you a child, maybe calling the police.
yes, going that far back. It's not one mistake. It's things that happened over and over. And again,
So was the child healthy when she received the child? Was the child healthy when you received the child?
the first one is Joel.
No, I'm talking about the child that is deceased. Was that child healthy when you received the child?
Healthy in a sense. I mean, she was
Healthy in the
skinny.
sense that
She was
had-
skinny.
Did she have all her hair?
Did she have all her what? Her hair?
On her head.
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, only like patches, like not patches, but like her hair was thin. Her hair wasn't thick. It was thin. Her hair was thin. And she came when I picked her up when Cassandra told me to go and when we went to go pick her up, she had like a dirty little outfit. I bought her clothes. There's a lot of things that I should have done and I didn't do when she first arrived at our home. I should have took her to get a welfare check. I should have done, and I didn't. I just
Well, and like your Honor said, I mean, the initial thing would be to contact authorities to go through the proper channels. I think CPS was contacted prior to this and made contact with Ms. Pettis, so they were aware of the situation, but again,
Aware of what situation?
that the girl was staying with Ms. Pettis. But I,
Was
again,
that before or after the child
before,
was taken to the hospital?
before, I believe.
So Child Protective Services was aware that somebody off the street gave her a child, and she picked up the phone and called Child Protective Services and said,
No,
"I have this child."
No, Ms. Pettis didn't. They contacted her. So again, I agree with the court. She should have done a lot of different things.
Well, I mean, I'm just unpacking things a little bit.
Yes.
So,
The mother has extensive history with CPS and had different children taken away, so I think CPS was checking into the whereabouts of Ronnie and Howell.
all right.
It was that.
So that's how CPS found out that the child was in her care,
Yes.
and CPS did nothing.
Parent.
Okay. I mean, CPS workers sometimes, well, many CPS workers are overworked and underpaid, but I'm wondering why would a CPS worker, and this is just a side note, why a CPS worker would leave a child with somebody that a mother just gave to that's a complete stranger. I guess that's something else that needs to be addressed.
Things behind it are, to put it, I guess, strange, and that's one of the things that I found strange as well, to, I guess, put it nicely. But
So why am I following this plea?
Your Honor, at this point, the state, after much back and forth, we recommended this plea due to what is actually being charged, and what we can prove. It becomes a question of whether or not we can prove that she did not seek adequate medical attention in terms of she has training as an LDN and attempted to keep an eye on the child at home, and it becomes whether or not we would be able to prove that she failed to do so due to how it is charged, Your Honor. And so at this point, we do feel 18 years for what she is charged with is appropriate.
All right, and does she have a license as an LVN? I'm assuming
She did in the past.
she didn't have, and then I needed to renew it
it's
because I
expired, is that right?
yes, and
Yes.
then I started going to school to ECT. Oh, sorry.
that's okay. It's expired.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. Court is going to sentence you to 8 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with minors. There's to be,
Judge, did you say 8 or 18?
18. Yeah. Did I say 18?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
It's okay. Matt and I are just this
Yes, all right.
morning.
18. All right, 18 years in the prison, credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with minors, and there's to be no employment in the future with minors or vulnerable persons. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing?
Not sentencing, we do have victim impact, Your Honor. Only one.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement? Because I followed your plea bargaining agreement? And because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. Whether you had your LVN license or not, I saw where you took your dog to the
This story is one that will leave you shaken, a story of claimed kindness that turned into unimaginable neglect and pain. Avon Monica Petts stood in court, a woman who claimed she was trying to do something good, a woman who said she was just trying to help, yet the consequences of her actions paint a far darker picture. What started as a seemingly simple act, a decision to take in a child she met through a stranger at a grocery store, quickly spiraled into a nightmare that no one could have foreseen. From the moment she brought this child into her care, it became clear that things were far from normal. There was no legal process, no background checks, no preparation for what caring for a child really means. Instead, There was confusion, neglect, and eventually, serious injury. The court would later hear that the child suffered bruises, pain, and neglect at a level that left the judge visibly shaken. When Pets entered the courtroom, tears streamed down her face, but they didn't convey remorse, they seemed more like the realization that her actions had finally caught up to her. The judge didn't accept her excuses, and neither did anyone paying attention to the facts. Prosecutors detailed a series of events that were almost too painful to hear. There was an incident where the child fell and hit her head and back, an incident that Pets seemed to treat lightly, even though it caused real injury. Pets admitted to pinching the child as a form of punishment, claiming she didn't intend to leave bruises, but the evidence told a different story. The child's injuries were visible, undeniable, and deeply disturbing. There were even moments where Pets left the child at a hospital and walked away, only later returning to speak with authorities. Her actions, whether intentional or reckless, were unacceptable, and the court made that very clear. Adding to the horror of this case were the revelations about systemic failures. Child Protective Services had knowledge of the child's situation long before this incident occurred. The biological mother had a history with CPS, meaning the system should have been aware that the child was at risk. Yet somehow, the child ended up in the hands of a complete stranger, someone who would ultimately neglect and harm her. The courtroom grappled with the question, how could this happen? How could a child be left so vulnerable in a system that is supposed to protect them? These questions haunted everyone in the room because the truth was clear, the tragedy could have been prevented. The judge, in addressing Pets directly, left no room for doubt about the severity of her actions. She compared Pets's care for a pet to the neglect she showed the child. Records showed that Pets regularly took her dog to the groomers, ensuring comfort and care, yet she left a child she claimed to be saving without proper attention or protection. The words struck a nerve. When a child is sick, you take a child to the doctor. I don't know why sometimes people have more love for their animals than they have for little children. Those words encapsulated the shock and disappointment of everyone in the courtroom. This wasn't just a legal judgment, it was a moral reckoning. Throughout the proceedings, Pets continued to cry and plead her intentions. She said she was just trying to help, just trying to do something kind. But the judge, the prosecutors, and everyone following the case could see the difference between intention and impact. Her good intentions, if they ever truly existed, had led to very real harm. The child was bruised, scared, and traumatized. Pets's tears in court did little to erase the pain she caused. When it came to sentencing, the court made a decisive ruling. Pets was sentenced to 18 years in prison, a sentence that included a strict prohibition on contact with minors and a ban on working with children or other vulnerable people in the future. The judge emphasized that the punishment was meant not only to penalize Pets but also to protect other children from suffering the same fate. Some may argue that 18 years is not enough for such a crime, a courtroom discount, for a woman whose actions caused lasting harm. Others see it as a necessary balance of justice. But one thing is undeniable, the consequences are severe, and the judgment is clear. Beyond the courtroom, there is a harsh reality awaiting Pets. Crimes against children carry an almost universal condemnation, even within prison walls. Those who commit offenses against minors are often met with extreme disapproval by other inmates, and Pets will not be spared from this. The social and psychological repercussions of her actions will follow her, and the judgment of society, both inside and outside prison, will continue long after the gavel has fallen. But this case is about more than one individual. It's about a system that allowed a child to end up in harm's way, a system that had warning signs but failed to act effectively. It's about the vulnerabilities in our child protection processes, the lapses in oversight, and the tragic consequences that result when precautions are ignored. The story of Yvonne Monica Pets and the child she neglected serves as a chilling reminder that the safety of the most vulnerable depends on the diligence of those entrusted to protect them. This story will stay with anyone who hears it. The images of a child suffering, the stark contrast between how she was treated and how an animal received care, the words of the judge, and the courtroom's grim acknowledgement of systemic failure, all of these elements combine to create a tale that is as disturbing as it is instructive. It forces us to ask difficult questions about responsibility, accountability, and the consequences of our actions, especially when those actions impact the lives of children. Even as the courtroom doors closed, the implications of this case reached far beyond. Families, authorities, and communities are reminded of the fragile safety nets meant to protect children. Pets' case is not just a personal failure, it is a warning, a story that echoes the urgent need for vigilance, compassion, and accountability. When someone steps in to care for a child, it is not enough to have good intentions. Knowledge, preparation, and responsibility are critical. Without them, the consequences can be devastating. And so, the story of Avon Monica Pets serves as a haunting example of how things that begin as acts of kindness can spiral into tragedy when combined with negligence and poor judgment. It is a story that challenges us to examine the systems we rely on, the moral responsibilities we carry, and the profound consequences of failing those who are most vulnerable. Every detail, every testimony, every word spoken in that courtroom contributes to a narrative that is as tragic as it is unforgettable. The case reminds us all that justice may be served in the courtroom, but true accountability extends far beyond the gavel. For the child, the trauma endured will last a lifetime. For Pets, the consequences of her choices will remain inescapable. And for the rest of us, the story serves as a solemn reminder. The safety of children is not negotiable, and the world must never turn a blind eye to the vulnerable.